Are you telling me that 200 of our men against your boy is no win situation for us? You send that many. Don't forget one thing. What? A good supply of body bags. Welcome back to Should You Watch This with the Popcorn Priest. Today we are reviewing First Blood from 1982, and this is the first of a 5-part series that we're going to do. We're watching all of them based on the re-release of the 4K Rambo series.
John Rambo was just passing through town, but they had nothing better to do.
You're looking for trouble. You came to the right place, buddy.
They didn't know how far he would go. They knew he was innocent.
Just another drifter that broke the law.
Vagrancy, wasn't it? They didn't know he had been trained for survival.
Right on top. Keep moving. There's no way out of here except through us.
They didn't know he could stalk a soldier by his heartbeat.
You don't seem to want to accept the fact that you're dealing with an expert in guerrilla warfare.
They didn't know they had started a war that they could never win. Sylvester Stallone in First Blood, from the best-selling novel.
I wanted to introduce my two guests today. 2-time guest, Angry Dane. This will make it 3 times.
The third time's the charm.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is going to be a good one.
And now 5-time guest, and I think a Should You Watch This alum,
Yes.
Dr. Dare.
That's what I'm talking about. I hit 5.
Welcome, guys. Welcome to the show. The description, here's some deets on the movie. The description is: a veteran Green Beret is forced by a cruel sheriff and his deputies to flee into the mountains and wage an escalating one-man war against his pursuers. My voice cracked just like I was 12 years old. Just
I
then.
was just going to say I wish my voice sounded exactly like yours, but now I don't.
Directed by Ted Kotcheff.
Did he do anything else? I've never heard that.
He directed such hits as Weekend at Bernie's and Folks, starring Tom Selleck.
Folks.
Starring
heard
Tom
of it.
Selleck.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Ted. But I mean, I liked Weekend at Bernie's. This is a good movie, but it's definitely different than First Blood.
Yeah.
Top billed stars: Sly Stallone, Richard Crenna, Brian Dennehy, and a very young David Caruso.
Yep.
Runtime of 1 hour, 33 minutes, rated R. The genre on Rotten Tomatoes says, ready for this, guys? Adventure, action.
Yes.
That's great.
They nailed
right?
it.
Perfect.
There's
Nailed
only
it.
2?
Very concise.
That's how it
Action,
should be.
Accurate.
And adventure. Or no, adventure and then action.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good
Perfect.
job.
The first
Yeah.
the first time on this show that Rotten Tomatoes got it right. Good job, Rotten Tomatoes. Speaking of Rotten Tomatoes, the review or the rating of Rotten Tomatoes is 85% from critics and 85% from the rest of us.
That's also very weird.
It is very weird.
Yeah.
And IMDb gives it a rating of 6.7 out of
Too low.
10. No, 7.7 out of 10.
Great.
Which I always feel like the IMDb rating is always around 6 to 7.5 to 8.
If you make it into the 7s on IMDb, it seems like that's a really good score. Higher than it seems. I mean, there's some that are 90s, 80s on Rotten Tomatoes that are like a 7.1. They're harsh.
If you make it beyond an 8 on IMDb, that's hard to do, I think.
Yeah, Lord of the Rings is like they're in the 9s, I think.
Yeah.
Who does the ratings on IMDb?
I think it's a conglomerate based on just everyone. Like both critics and normal people. Just everybody.
That's an interesting question. We should research.
I need to do more research
How
on
do
the
they get
IMDb
them?
rating because I felt like it's always around the same, and I kind of don't like to include it, but it's interesting. I like to include it just because it's fun to know what everyone's saying about it. A lot of people would say that these are dumb, the ratings. They're useless, but I like to just have them. Just like to know about them. The box office haul for this movie is on a budget of I found some reports say $12 million, some reports $15 million, some reports say $17 million because it went over, the production days went over. But it made, and this is conflicting too, I found one site, Box Office Mojo, which you would think that's your whole site name. You should be right. But it's for $47.2 million. And then other reports said it made $125.2 million. So super off. I don't know who to believe here, but it was the most popular movie in that year by a long shot.
1982.
Yeah. So this brings us, should you watch this? Yes. The answer is yes. Number one, if you like Sly Stallone, this is for you. Number two, if you want to get even more frustrated about police brutality, and it's pretty topical right now.
I feel like the whole podcast is going to end up being, I'm prepping myself not to just talk about how relevant it is.
That's
going to be tough.
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's your take. That's why you're on the show. Number three, it's a good commentary on how the vets were treated.
Are treated.
What?
Are treated.
Or are treated, yes. Number four, if you want to see the birth of Rambo, this is it. Tying into number four is number five. This one isn't like the mindless action movie that the subsequent Rambo sequels are. This is more grounded in reality. And
It's social commentary too. Like,
first
Yeah.
and action second, right? Which is definitely not the other movies.
so, and then I gave an honorable mention, number six, Brian Dennehy's performance, I think is...
I hate him.
Well, that means
Yeah.
he did a good
Yeah,
job.
exactly.
That's what he was supposed to do. So there's the reasons. Any other reasons why you would tell the listeners why you'd watch this?
maybe like really big CSI Miami fans should watch it.
It was his first, but not his last.
He is a
He
wussy
has
in
no
this one.
sunglasses on in this one.
I know.
If you want to know what he looks like without his sunglasses.
And he's the guy that's like saying, what did you say when we were watching it? His character
He was the
like,
only smart guy.
He's
Who
the
was
only
like
smart guy,
reasonable.
yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
why don't we just do this?
hey, why don't we just go back to the station?
Yeah,
knew there was something about that guy.
I know.
Yeah, he's that guy in this movie.
Yeah.
And it's pretty funny because he's pretty scrawny and like, no offense to the gingers, but he's hardcore ginger. And he stands out. He like stands out in this movie. So
He's a great character. He's a great character in here.
So I have a ton of trivia.
Wait, you missed. I have a reason. I have one more reason.
Oh, awesome. I asked. I don't know why you...
Cowboy hats with raincoats.
Oh, yes.
I think that was cool. And
It's so funny that these guys, all of them, are like, all right, everybody, we're going to get up to the mountains. Make sure everybody puts on your raincoat hat. Your raincoats on your hats.
let's not be prepared for anything else.
Yeah.
But make sure you protect your hats.
And they're all on perfectly, like the rubber band is placed perfectly around the bottom half of the brim.
It was
and it's
awesome.
like, hey, we're all going to get slashed and cut and shot at, but our hats are going to stay dry.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that. That's honorable mention number 7
Yeah.
of reasons to watch First Blood. Not to be confused with, I always think it's Rambo : First Blood.
I almost corrected you, and then I'm like, no, I'm dumb. Chris
It's
obviously
not.
knows.
It's just First
It's
Blood.
just First Blood. And I wanted to do the quote. They drew First Blood. They drew First Blood. But
Yeah,
I liked the other quote better. So, all right, let's get into the review. Let's break this movie down. I can go on. I have tons of trivia. There's some crazy things that you guys will be surprised about.
Maybe do initial thoughts, and then we'll do some some
All right.
trivia.
Initial thoughts on Rambo. But I don't want to give your rating yet. I like leaving that to the end.
I just liked it because when I don't remember that one as much as like Rambo 3, I think was the one I watched several times when I was a kid. And that's just over the top action. Like I think Stallone's on tons of steroids in that one, and he doesn't have a shirt on the entire time, and he's just killing everyone.
killing everyone. Isn't he in like a helicopter and he's just mowing
he like
dudes down?
blows up a Russian helicopter, and he rides like an Arabian horse with no shirt on.
I want to. You said that. I cannot tell you how pumped I am.
FYI,
Seems ridiculous.
that horse, and this is getting into Rambo 3. We're not quite there yet, but that's the same horse that was ridden by Harrison Ford in the Indiana Jones movie.
Oh,
the same
nice.
exact horse.
Nice.
That's really awesome.
That's
But
what
yeah,
the internet says. And
Those are fun, but this one was like a real movie. Like there was a lot
it's
more
good.
of a story and a plot and a lot more meaning behind this movie, I think.
And we watched a 4K representation of this film, and it was awesome.
A couple of the cuts that they showed, the before and after.
Oh,
I didn't see the whole
restoration.
making. Yeah, but the restoration was really neat. I mean, it's subtle, so it doesn't change the feel of the movie, but it really sharpens it and makes it look nice.
You still see the film grain, and it just looks like a period piece because it's so pristine, the image. But it's awesome. Love the 4K. Pick it up if you can. I mean, you can't watch this right now anywhere. You can't stream it, so you're gonna have to rent it.
How is that?
Best Buy's selling it for pretty cheap, though, right?
Yeah, you can buy it by itself for like, I don't know, $12-15.
This is why all video stores shouldn't have gone out of business. This would have been at your local Cosmos Video or whatever.
Forever.
Yeah.
I've been trying to watch Better Off Dead, one of my favorite movies, for years, and it's
Can't
not on
find it
streaming.
anywhere.
So I just had to buy it on Amazon last night, and I felt like an idiot. I'm like, I should have just bought it. I should have just bought it 2 years ago. I'm gonna add it to the complex.
The Pop Flicks.
Oh yeah, the Pop Flicks.
Pop Flicks.
Sorry.
I'm currently sidebar. Currently making a NAS movie repository that I'm going to share with all of my friends.
Not with you, listeners.
No, not unless you tweet me. Maybe one lucky listener will get a login for the Pop Flicks. All right, here we go. Let's jump into trivia. The makeshift canvas coat that Rambo wears was really a rotting piece of canvas that the crew found during production, and they cut it up and put it on his body.
That's awesome.
And keep in mind, all of these are 100% fact-checked and true. I mean, no, they're not.
Guaranteed true.
Guaranteed. All of these are guaranteed to be true. You can take it to the bank.
And if it's not, it's not an untruth. It's an alternate fact.
It's alternate fact.
That's a thing. That's a 2020 thing. You couldn't do that in 2019.
During the jail escape scene, Sylvester Stallone broke the nose of Alf. We mentioned his name when the credits when it was rolling up. This guy named Alf Humphreys, who played Lester, by elbowing him in the face. That's why you see him wearing a Band-Aid throughout the rest of the film.
And he's the one carrying the gifts. He like sweeps the leg and then elbows him in the face.
I think that's the same guy.
That's the guy who we're like, he actually is a good dude. And he's like, dude, I'm just bringing gifts for the kids.
He's like the only cop that's not an a-hole.
Yeah, he doesn't try and kill him.
Ginger.
Yeah. And the ginger. Ginger Caruso.
Ginger Caruso.
Little Boy Scout Caruso.
So Sly tried to buy the movie and destroy it because the producers cut out a lot of his parts. He later has said that this is his favorite Rambo movie, but initially it
Wasn't the original edit horrible though? And it was like 4 hours long or something like that.
I don't know. I couldn't find. Did you
read
about
something
that?
about like the first cut was like really long and horrible, and him and his agent were trying to get it like killed or something, or to buy it and
they
destroy it.
Didn't want it to come out.
Yeah.
And he also he wanted $3.5 million for the movie, and they're like, sorry, Sly, we can only give you $2 million.
Did he get like royalties or anything?
Yeah, they ended up paying him on the back end with the TV rights. They gave him another $1.5 million for the TV rights.
Where was he in his career? Like, what Rocky was he coming off of before this one?
That's a good question, because Rocky 3 was delayed because of the delays in production on First Blood.
Okay.
So, Rocky 3, to answer your question.
Nice.
The knife that Rambo uses was custom designed by the late Arkansas knife maker Kimmy Lyle. Lily.
Can you spell that for me, Chris?
Kimmy Lyle. Kimmyle.
Lyle?
I really expected like 16 letters. It's Lyle.
Is that how you say
What
it?
is
Lyle? I think it's safe to say that that's Lyle.
that is the most shocking thing that has ever happened.
Lyle.
Loeffler.
It looks really weird.
It's-
Okay. Lile. It could be Lily. Lily.
It could. Everyone's gonna say Lyle, and then he's gonna correct him if it's something.
Lele. It's Lele.
Lele.
It's Kimmy Lele.
Don't church it up, Joe Dirt.
The film popularized the knockoff hollow-handed survival knives with compasses in the pommel forever. For a
Was
while.
there one of those in your homes? One of those knockoff knives?
Yeah, I had one.
We had one. My
Yeah.
brother-in-law gave me one when I was really little.
Like a knockoff Rambo knife.
It was a real knife, but like not as nice as the one I'm sure that
It's-
Kimmy made.
Lily.
Chris.
Yeah,
You didn't have one at your house? I feel like they were
No.
everywhere.
And I was like into scouting, and we did
Yeah, it
a bunch
had,
of
like-
outdoor stuff.
it had the compass on the top. You could screw it off, and there was like matches inside and other accoutrement.
Yeah, it's still at my parents' house. When I was there last time I was there, there's like
Oh
a
my
drawer in the
gosh.
kitchen with a hammer and a tape measure and
And the
stuff like
Rambo
that.
And
knife is
There's
in there.
the Rambo
a
knife,
tape measure, a
and, like,
flashlight.
an extension cord.
That's amazing. Sly Stallone personally selected the knife maker Kimmy Lily for making this
We
knife.
noticed in the credits
He's credited.
They credited
Yeah.
not. I think the company, maybe his or her.
I didn't remember the Kimmy Lyle name on there, but
I don't think
Could
so.
have been. I don't know.
But there's like a definite like credit to the knife makers.
I'm a big Forged in Fire fan, so it was nice to see the knife.
You should make your first forged knife to be the Rambo knife.
If you had a hollow handle, your tang would be super
How would they?
crappy.
how would
Like
they
I
make
can't
that
see that
knife?
being really strong. I think Jay Nielsen would just have a heyday with a shitty knife that had a hollow tang.
I bet the knockoffs ones were crappy, but I bet the real one was probably pretty good.
The knockoffs were crappy. The knife that I had was garbage. Like it
So
couldn't
not
cut.
even high carbon steel.
I mean, I don't know what that meant.
I bet they
as a
only quenched.
12-year-old.
I bet they quenched it like 7 times in water.
You need to start a Forged in Fire podcast.
Just
You
love
know
it.
so much
I love that
about
show.
Forged in Fire. Okay, so here's an interesting fact, and I saw this, but I didn't really understand what it meant. What's the guy's Dennehy's character? It says Teasel.
Teasel.
Yeah.
Okay, so Teasel, when they go into his office, did you notice on the back, like credenza, that he has like 3 medals of honor? Like
Oh, I remember reading about this trivia a little bit.
he's a decorated war vet
From the Korean War.
from the Korean War.
It doesn't mention it in the movie, right?
It doesn't mention that he's from the Korean War,
book.
but the book does talk
Source
about
material.
it. Yeah. And the whole thing about in the book is their fighting styles clashed, the Korean fighting style versus the Vietnam War fighting style. And it was way more aggressive in the book. Like
That sounds really interesting.
Rambo was like way
I didn't even know
crazier.
there was a book until we started
Isn't it like a
looking into this.
novella? It's not.
No, it's a novel.
Oh, it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's long.
I want to read it now
Yeah,
with all that reading I do.
I bet it's super depressing, dude. It's an allegory on
love depressing
PTSD and
Mistreatment of
mistreatment.
outsiders.
Yes, man. Like, just watch the news, dude. We got kids in cages. Like, sorry.
Do you guys know where the word Rambo comes from?
No.
Or not the word, but like his name, Rambo. The author, he coined Rambo in his book. He named him Rambo.
It's not like a real name.
The name Rambo has become synonymous with the muscle-bound, bullet-spraying war hero, but the name actually comes from a humble piece of fruit.
What?
There are actually 2 apples named Rambo, the Rambo apple and the Summer Rambo. The story goes that the novelist was unable to think of a suitable name for our hero when his wife brought home some Rambo apples, and he figured that might just work.
My grandma used to make the best apple pies from Rambo apples. We'd call them Rambo pies, and then when the movie came out, it was just weird, so we just called them out. I'm just making this
Oh my
up.
gosh, I believed you.
I'm not even mad. I just want some pie now.
Well, it is the holidays. Let's make a Rambo pie. We should have had Rambo pie while we were doing the Rambo podcast.
I'm shocked. I don't think I've seen a Rambo apple in my whole life.
I didn't even know they existed. TBH.
I'll bet they're bitter and gross and upset that their friend committed suicide.
They're full of angst.
Yeah, some angsty apples, man.
So get this. During the scene when Rambo's being chased by police.
That's a lot of scenes.
Okay,
It's like the whole movie. Right?
The scene where
Is he in the truck? Is he on the mountain? Is he in the
motorcycle?
water?
he's on the motorcycle.
Oh, yeah.
The stuntman playing the sheriff, Teasel, suffered a broken back when the car launches. Remember that
Dude.
big...
Oh, when
Yeah,
it jumps
into the
from the
fence.
road
we
into
were
the
like,
pasture.
holy moly, that is
Yeah.
a giant
Yeah.
jump. Broke his back. He tried to open the door and realized that he could not walk.
It's a lot of adrenaline,
He
man.
couldn't get out. He's like, oh, guess what? I can't get out because I
Can't
think I
move my
broke my
legs."
back.
Remember that joke about sex workers selling their body versus people who work for a living? Like, that guy sold his body.
Oh, man. I mean,
Like,
for our benefit.
That
was an
when we
amazing
watched
scene.
that, it's like no real person would jump the car into the field like that.
No,
Ever.
0%
Ever.
You have
You'd take
to
the road
suspend that.
around. You would take the road that goes around the pasture.
Yeah.
there are so many times where you have to suspend that type of thinking.
Right.
It's maybe the one negative about this movie is like, oh, cool, he made it out of the collapsed mine. Maybe he should steal a giant truck and run it through a police barricade instead of using his survival
Just sneak
skills to
away.
just get out of there. There's
Yeah.
a million times like that.
While in the mine, he has another flashback that was cut. So remember, he's like, it's like caved in, and he's going
The rats.
opposite way, and there's the rats, which I didn't even remember watching when I was younger.
Yeah, it was kind of a trip.
So he has a flashback. He thinks about himself and his buddies in a bar in Vietnam being entertained by local ladies. Rambo then takes one back to his room where they make sweet, sweet love. The scene flashes back to the present and Rambo begins to cry.
How much time did he spend in that cave?
Dude,
So much time.
like that scene doesn't belong in the movie, but
I
I'm
mean,
sad it was cut.
Apparently,
Did
Rambo.
they shoot the flashback?
I don't know. I got to look on the Blu-ray and see if these.
Because I want to
scenes are-
see the flashback scene of the buddies
What an
in
odd,
Vietnam.
I mean, just what an odd situation to remember that. Makes PTSD sound a lot nicer.
Yeah, well, and he starts crying.
I'm about to make a bunch of jokes in bad taste. I'm sorry. It's a real thing. I get that. It was just a cheap joke. I apologize.
So, casting
Amazing.
The casting was amazing. Do you guys know there was other people who were supposed to play Troutman, the
The Colonel?
Colonel? Guess who was set to play Troutman?
Maybe we shouldn't know because I feel like I'm going to be sad.
Clint Eastwood.
Troutman is the Colonel.
He was too young at the time.
Kirk Douglas
That would have been awesome.
was cast, and he pulled out at the last minute due to script differences.
His Colonel was the worst character.
The
He has some cool lines.
Kirk Douglas, right?
Kirk Douglas,
'Kay.
not Michael Douglas.
Okay,
The
yeah.
the dad.
Yeah.
You didn't like the Colonel?
No.
Well-
because he mismanaged the whole. He's just.
There you go, thinking about reality again.
Well, yeah, true. Again, it's another thing where he just changes a few words and everything, and the movie ends. You know, it's like
Yeah.
they didn't want the movie to end. The actors were like, "Yeah, keep killing people. Yeah, keep going. Keep getting deeper. No, chase him. Go to the police station now. Yeah, light the gas station on fire and then go to the police station. Grab that minigun. Like, what? I don't know.
I really enjoy the vibration of your phone in the recording.
What? Could you guys hear that?
Yes.
I ordered food for us. A Taste of India.
Al Pacino nearly played Rambo.
If Al Pacino would have been there in real life, he would have got that shit done.
Yeah.
I don't like him as Rambo.
You know why he declined? Because he felt like Rambo should have been more like bonkers, like more kill more people.
Agreed.
You think it should have? I don't think so.
I don't think his character
He
is
wouldn't have
realistic.
been very relatable though if he'd have been super crazy.
There
You
was
wouldn't have
this.
sympathized with him.
No, but his actions made him seem crazy. I mean, his actions are nuts, but he's trying not. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, in the book, he was way more berserk. They tried to make his character be more like conflicted and like, I don't want to hurt anyone, but you guys are pushing too hard.
But you guys drew first blood.
I think he could have kept that, but he just. Yeah, sorry. I love the movie, so don't get me wrong. But
what version of Pacino are we talking about? Like what movie is that like? It's probably a few years after the Godfather movie, one of the Godfather movies, right?
It's got to be Godfather,
like the second Godfather,
2, right? So he
would have been weird as I don't know.
Yeah,
I can't see that.
I don't.
Has he ever
Obviously.
played a role like that before?
I mean,
what about like Jeff Bridges?
He was a war veteran in The Godfather, but
not like this.
But not like
not
this.
like Green Beret.
No,
Eat things that make a billy goat puke.
I forgot about that.
Not that guy.
No, not that guy.
He's not that guy.
So I want to read you these 2 things that I found. These are some crazy injuries that Sly Stallone suffered. Speaking of that guy with the broken nose. So in an interview with Ain't It Cool News, Sly Stallone revealed the following. I was doing the scene in First Blood where I'm in the cell being whipped in the lower back with a piece of rubber hose. David Caruso was standing directly behind me. After every hit with the hose, David's character was supposed to exclaim, "Geez, can't you guys see that this guy's crazy?" And then I get hit again. We had about 4 takes, and David had repeated the line perfectly on each take. Yet the director said, "Let's try it again." At this point, my back was on fire, and I turned to the director and said, "How many more times are you going to do this?" The kid said it perfectly. And the director basically said, "Shut up and do it again." And he came forward. I pushed him back, and the next thing I knew, I was tackled by a pair of security men and driven against the cell wall, which in turn cracked my rib. Anyway, after several months, everything cooled down, and we all apologized and marched on. He literally in the scene where he's getting beat up by the cops, he gets beat up by the production crew.
By the movie cops.
By the movie cops.
Security
FYI,
guys?
there's movie cops on sets.
There's security.
Don't talk to me like that, you Vietnam vet.
And
now
then-
just do as you're told.
And then he breaks his rib.
I've never heard of method directing. You know what I mean? Like, that's dope.
I feel like back in the
Next level.
60s, 70s, and early 80s, directors were doing
abusive.
bad
It's like
things.
teachers, like my grandpa would have to go under the teacher's desk and he'd just kick him every time he moved. Like, it's just a jerky time.
Yeah, that's insane. So here's another one. Sly Stallone suffered several serious injuries during the filming of the movie. For the scene where Rambo jumps off the cliff and injures himself on some tree branches on the way down, Stallone performs the stunt himself during the bottom third of the fall, and in the process broke another one of his ribs when he landed on the tree branch. Stallone remarks on the DVD commentary that it was easy to play the landing when Rambo screams in pain since he was not acting and was really in pain.
That's crazy to think he had 2 broken ribs.
And that doesn't heal. You can't, like, through the rest of the production, he's like, every time he moves, that's got to be hurting.
Yeah.
Also, For the scene where Rambo first runs into the abandoned mine shaft to elude the guardsmen firing at him, Stallone places his hand on top of a piece of wood, not realizing that his hand was right on top of a gunfire squib that went off a second later, injuring his hand in the process. Stallone mentions that the pain he felt was so intense he was afraid to look at his hand, fearing the squib had completely blown his thumb off. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Like I love actors. It's like Tom Cruise. He broke his foot in like the
Mission Impossible.
One of the Mission Impossibles, and he's like, "All right, guys, we're gonna have a 3-week vacation." Just broke my ankle,
dude, and he's hardcore too, yelling at everyone like he just did.
Oh man,
wear your masks.
Yeah, everybody.
Awesome.
If you want Tom Cruise to yell at you, wear your mask, please. This is the only Rambo film in which John Rambo doesn't use a bow and arrow.
That's because those
he just needs a lot of
cops didn't have
just the knife.
It's a lot of reaction to that trivia. I'm glad I looked that one up.
It's cool.
Cool.
Yeah, it's interesting.
He didn't use a bow and arrow. You're right.
Thanks for pointing out the obvious, you a-hole. This film is set in December 1981, so officially can be added to the Christmas movie list.
Mm-hmm. There's a Christmas tree.
There's a Christmas tree, Christmas gifts for the children in the hospital.
How old was the popcorn priest in December 1981? Like 2?
I was 3. I didn't watch it in 1982. Yeah. Well, the movie came out in 82, but I was 3 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Dr. Dare ceased to exist at that point?
I didn't exist. I came just so I could see Rambo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was supposed to be adopted to a country that wasn't going to get it.
Like Myanmar?
Or Micronesia. But luckily I came out and watched it.
I've got 2 more trivia bits, and then I want your ratings. Okay? So guess who was offered the opportunity to direct this film? I mean, I realize this is stupid to ask you to guess because there's
Coppola.
No. I'll let you have one guess, Seth.
I have no idea.
Okay. George Miller, who directed Mad Max.
Man.
Oh, wow.
He'd been offered but passed on it. George Miller was offered to direct mostly due to box office success of Mad Max 2, Road Warrior. The film was a sequel to Mad Max, which was also about a policeman who succumbs to madness and sets out to hunt down.
There's a lot of similarities there, actually.
Yeah.
I need to watch some more movies from like the late 70s and early 80s.
Yeah.
It's really hit or miss, I feel like, but
yeah
we should try some.
Yeah, there's some really bad 80s films, but also really
even within
good.
the same franchise.
Yes.
Some of the Mad Maxes were really cool, and some of them were a lot less cool and more like a Jim Henson production.
Like Thunderdome?
So the last thing that I wanted to bring up
like
was the alternate ending.
Yeah.
We watched it. What do you guys think about it?
Is that how it ends in the book? Do you know?
I would bet. Yeah.
Yeah, he gets well, I think it's a more direct, like he tries to kill himself versus the way they portrayed it in the alternate ending
where
of the
he
movie.
wanted the colonel to kill him.
Yeah, I think he shot himself.
I think it's a more powerful ending, but the American cinema viewing public can't handle this sort of thing.
We wouldn't have had any Rambos. We would have 0 Rambo movies.
Yeah.
But
Exactly.
maybe it would have been worth it in the end.
Maybe.
I don't know.
It was a much better ending. I mean, very fitting, fits more to his character, fits more to the shitty colonel.
Yeah.
He didn't help him at all. He did nothing to help him. And so that...
He actually outed him with the freaking radio, breaking radio silence. He's the one that got more dudes to get him caught.
Yes.
The clip they show, the alternate ending, there's no music or anything with it, right? It's just their dialogue.
Yeah, just their dialogue.
I don't know if it seemed like it wasn't acted very well.
It wasn't, and it was really poor quality.
Yeah.
And he flew across the room.
I don't know if the acting's bad or if it just seems bad because it isn't finished. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But his scene where he's talking about Nam right at the end is really good.
Yeah. Best part of the whole movie.
Sly Stallone does a great job.
Oh, when the colonel tells him his mission is over, and he says nothing's over or whatever.
Yeah.
That whole rant.
And he starts talking about his buddy getting
Chevy,
no legs.
Yeah, it's gonna drive till the wheels fall off.
It's intense.
Something like that.
it's really good, and it's not. You don't. I didn't see it coming. His range is basically nothing.
Yeah,
He doesn't have to act the entire rest of the movie.
Yeah,
and then he has this really powerful, like, moving scene.
It's really good.
It was really good.
Yeah. Speaking of really good, what's your rating? Who wants to go first?
I'll go first. I'm just going to do out of 5 stars, and I give it 5 stars. I have a lot of problems and, like, little things, but none of it add up to anything except it's an amazing movie, I think.
I love it. Angry Dane?
4.5 thumbs up.
4.5 thumbs up out of...
On the same arm.
Oh, 4. I just got that. 4.5 thumbs. You have a weird arm.
What are the thumbs up?
What? I don't know.
What are the
What's
thumbs
a star?
up?
They're just pointing up.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
They're not up inside of any orifices.
In a wound.
The
In a
4.5
wound.
thumbs up.
I'll give it 5
wound,
broken
tree
ribs.
branch wound.
Yeah, 5 sliced alone rib breaking.
2 broken ribs, a broken back, and a broken nose is what I give it.
And we haven't hit it, and we should wrap it up because I'm sure we're boring, but it really is
boring.
timeless in the sense of, like, this small town asshole abuses his power, calls in this, basically wages war, a literal war against one dude who just wanted a hot meal and a friendly interaction with that guy.
I loved your comment of, like, this could have all gone away if the police guy would have just been nice and said, yeah, hey, let's go get a hot meal, like you said. And if Rambo would have just been like,
yeah, use your words. Hey, excuse me, officer, I'd like some help. I'm hungry and I'm just passing through. My buddy committed suicide. Do you think you could help me out? Of course. I'll sit you down and then we'll get you out of my town. And then the movie's over.
and he just is silent.
Yeah, I think the book where they go back and forth because of the war is dope.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm going to give my rating golden bucket for sure. This is better than I remembered.
Yeah.
And I think all of you guys should go watch it.
100%.
And also Merry Christmas, because this is a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
It's a long road when you're
all alone. All right, guys. Thanks.
They tear your dreams apart, and every new town just seems to bring you down, trying to find peace of mind and break your heart.
As always, hit me up on the Twitters or the Instas if you want to interact with the great Popcorn Priest at Popcorn Priest. I respond to every tweet, post, comment, hashtag, and whatever else there is. Let me know if there's something you'd like us to review. Also, if you enjoyed this or any of our previous episodes, please subscribe so you can get notifications on our newest episodes. Much appreciated. Also, in conjunction with this release, and since it's our 60th episode, I've created a Patreon account. If you've liked anything up to this point and want to throw a few shekels at the priest, please do so if you feel so inclined at patreon.com/Popcorn Priest. And as always, thanks for listening. This has been Should You Watch This with the Popcorn Priest. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week.
It's a long road, and it's hard as hell. Tell me, what do you do to survive? When they draw first blood, that's just the start of it. Day and night, you gotta fight to keep alive. It's a real war right outside your front door. It's a long